work on the Chevelle tonight. Removing the weather stripping around the trunk lid, and it's coming off in pieces, but portions of it are all right. But you can see right here, the water was getting underneath it. Down through here is some corrosion, but it didn't go through. Down here, it went through a lot. So that's holes. So this piece is in bad shape. We'll get it out and see how bad it is. I'm done with the front window channel, so now I'm on the back window. And to save a little time grinding rubber out, I'm scraping out the old gasket that's still there. So I've done this half, and this is all just pure rust here. But you can see just scraping it, how it's come pretty clean. There was a lot of window leakage here, all the way across. So there's not much left there, a lot of rust right there. But it hasn't rusted through. So I'll scrape out what I can and then come back and grind the rest. Alrighty, so I'm about to practice welding. It's been over 20 years since I've MIG welded. So I ordered myself a new welder, 200 amp titanium, so we'll see how that works. And I got a new helmet, and I got a bunch of clamps already, and I bought the little roller stand from Harbor Freight to kind of hold it all for me. And John Wallace had a welding jacket in the box, still new, just happens to fit me, so I'm gonna use it. And I found a little piece of metal, and I'm just gonna try to lay a bead on it, see how it goes. I'm not even gonna show you how that turned out. Too embarrassing. The next phase of upgrading the shop was to install a proper compressed air system. So I ordered a 80-gallon tank with a 5 horsepower compressor and began the install. I got a mega compressor, 80-gallon, 5 horsepower. I already got it wired up with 220. I got it bumping through a wall, completely up to code, of course. I got a 220 outlet hiding behind this table here under the box. So now I'm gonna plumb around here, mount my filter and regulator here, and water separator, and go through the wall and then into the shop. So the first thing is I'm gonna put an elbow here to run the whip line around the back of the compressor. So I got my water separator and my filter regulator put together with the brass coupling there, and I got the whip line hooked up, and I just mounted a board right here on the wall, sort of as a vacuum plate, so I can just mount this right here, hook up the whip line to this, and then I'm going to run a hard line through the wall after that. All right, the entire installation is complete. I got compressors set up with vibration mounts, whip line set up, running the whip line coming off the compressor to absorb vibration, a dryer and a filter regulator, and then hard lines that run into the shop. 3 drop downs. I'll put a 4th with a spool on it eventually. No leaks. So let's plug it in and see how it works. I got it close to needing a charge. High flow quick connects. So it'll pump right back up to 125 is what I got it set on. We're at 100 now, and I'm running 60 on the regulator. So let's run it and see what happens. It's on. It's pretty close to 100. January 25th, 2026. Finally getting to work on the Chevelle. I've decided to replace this whole tail panel here and the floor of the trunk, and I'm going to take them out as one piece. So trying not to tear up too much of the car with the sheet metal, I'm just going to start removing all the weld, the butt welds all the way around. So you drill them out a little bit, get some of the weld out, and then you gently hammer underneath to loosen it. I'll loosen it all the way around, and then I'll go all around the floor as well. All right, I've been practicing welding, and learning is taking place. So there was my first one. I did it from the inside, and I blew right through it, trying to just run a bead. Way too hot, way too fast. Plus this stuff's really thin. Second one was a little better. Still blew right through it. You can see holes in it. Got way too hot. And then I've already grounded it, so it looks really good, but I just welded these two corners together and controlled the heat a whole lot better. And then I ground it. No light going through it, so that's the best one I've done yet. And I'm trying to do a butt weld here, and got too big of a hurry and shot through it. But learning. I did a little research and learned that I needed to get the body squared up on the frame before I cut out any big pieces of sheet metal. As you can see, the original body mounts were pretty worn out. I put Pop to work helping me clean it all up, and then we squared up the body on the frame. March 20th, 2026. So I've gone through and replaced all of the body bushings on the whole car against the frame before I cut out the trunk floor. So I did a little homework, and it recommends getting the body square on the frame before you go cutting any big pieces out so everything stays square. And a lot of my body bushings were wore out. So I replaced them all with new polyurethane bushings, and then I measured the frame cross-sectionally to make sure it was square, and it's exactly a square frame. And then I torqued all the body bolts so the body is temporarily on the frame appropriately, so everything's square. And then I put the car up on jacks, and then I've leveled it so the car is level all the way across the ground, perfectly square. That way I have a square car and all the gaps will be correct. Now that I got the tailpiece off, I'm going to start drilling out all the spot welds on the trunk of the floor of the trunk. This tore up a little more than I would have liked, but both of the pieces that got torn up in this process are being replaced, so I didn't mind letting these get torn up a little bit just to save the time. But as I work around the floor here, I'm cleaning off all the old paint and rubberized material spray that they did on the quarters so I can get to each spot weld, and I'm going to do all the spot welds for the rest of the floor. Today I'm just cleaning up more of the trunk floor, so after cutting out the middle section I can get in here to work, and I'm removing the edges where it goes into the inner fender well. You can see where I've cut out this section. That way I can save as much as the original metal as possible. So I'm working on this side here. So this is part of the trunk floor that needs to be cut out. And I just use a wire wheel to find all the spot welds, and then I can drill them out. And I'll work my way all the way around the fender wells up into the floor here and get it all cleaned out and try to save as much original metal as possible.